Groups like Operation Dudwala has been carrying out violent attack against foreign-owned business in South Africa openly. The South African Minister of Culture, Gayton McKenzie, has been one of the main sponsorer of the xenophobia attack against Nigeria and other foreigners in South Africa in the last few months and years. The question I'm asking today is, why do South Africans hate Nigerians and other Africans? Why do Black people Africans? Why do we hate ourselves? Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. I am your brother and your friend, Francis. I am a UK-based content creator. On this channel, we try to educate our people, and we use this platform to promote tolerance and inclusion. The controversy surrounding the issue of South African beauty pageant, the dust is yet to settle. In case you haven't been following what has been happening in South Africa, here is a summary of what has happened. South African beauty pageant, Chidimma Adetshina, who was born in Soweto in South Africa in 2001, to a Nigerian father and a mother who is reportedly originally from Mozambique. The girl was born in South Africa. She holds a South African passport. She had to pull out of the beauty pageant in South Africa because South Africans, not all, but it appears that majority of South Africans could not bear having someone with a Nigerian name and a Black person for that matter representing their country, even though she was born in South Africa. How did we get to this point where South Africa, a country that growing up in Nigeria, we were taught to show solidarity with our brothers and sisters who were living under apartheid in South Africa at that time. I can remember as a young boy growing up, we had to stay behind in church to pray that our brothers and sisters in South Africa would one day be free. As a young man coming back, when the apartheid finally ended in South Africa, we were jubilating, happy that our fellow Black brothers and sisters are now free in South Africa. This was only 1994. How did we get from African solidarity with South African Black and the nation of South Africa to a point where the level of Afrophobia attack in South Africa is unheard of? How did we get to this point? Well, let's dive into the history. If you are watching me from South Africa and you are one of those who is generation free is anyone born after the fall of apartheid. They are regarded in South Africa as generation free. The question, I want to put a question to you, and I want you to be objective when you answer this question. Do you really know the role that Tanzania, Nigeria, Libya, Ghana, and other African countries played for you to live in a free South Africa? If you really know what the contribution of other African countries to ending apartheid in South Africa, I am sure that before you attack that Zimbabwean, before you attack that Nigerian and destroy their shops, that the only crime that they have committed is because they have a nationality of an African country, I am sure you will think twice. Meanwhile, South Africans are very, very quick and proud of Trevor Noah, whose father is a Swiss German, as I understand it. Why is it that the darker the skin in South Africa, the more rejection you will feel? Even though you're born in South Africa, you will be rejected and not accepted. Can you imagine a black girl born of Nigerian parents or Ghanaian parents being forced to renounce beauty pageant in the United Kingdom because of the color of their skin or the way their names sound? It will never happen. Now, the question I want to say, this problem is not peculiar to South Africa. We have the same problem in Nigeria. I will come to that shortly. Now, South Africa is currently facing unemployment crisis like most African countries. 32.6 million percent of South Africans are unemployed, according to the government statistics. Meanwhile, the country only has a population of 60 million. When I asked my South African friends and contact, why do South Africans hate Nigerians and other Africans? They told me Nigerians commit a lot of crime in South Africa. Well, there might be some element of truth in that. I'm not here to deny that. But you cannot say all Nigerians that live in South Africa are criminals. I am sure there are South Africans that are criminals as well, that are involved in criminal activities. Does that mean that you have to paint all South Africans as criminals? Why is it that when an African moves to South Africa, they are facing hostility? You have a group that is openly destroying African-owned properties in South Africa, and nothing is happening there. How many South African people, especially the generation free, is aware of the Mogadishu Declaration? How many South African is aware of the Lusaka Manifesto? After the uprising, after the massacre of defenseless black people in South Africa during the Soweto uprising, it was countries like Nigeria and other countries that led the movement through the then Organization of African Unity for the boycott of South Africa. It was the economic pressure that was put on South Africa that eventually led to the fall of apartheid. Now, some South Africans have told me that Nigerian men, they commit crime, and some Nigerians have said South African men, they are jealous of Nigerians and other Africans who are ambitious, that the men are lazy, they are more likely to involve in drugs and other vices. I don't know. I don't want to believe this, because I don't believe all South African men are lazy and unambitious. I think that what we must do as Africans is to be open-minded and objective and stop stereotyping people. What is happening today in South Africa? Any Pan-African who understands the history of South Africa should condemn it. And sadly, South Africa, like most African countries, is grappling with failure of leadership and corruption. You have the years where Jacob Zuma was the president and there was massive corruption. Zuma was more interested in marrying many wives than to address the issues that were affecting South African people. Now, South Africa find themselves in a situation where the economy is not growing, it's not generating enough jobs, and somebody has to be blamed for the problem. And sadly, it is the black immigrants who are being targeted in South Africa. I have been to Cape Town. I was there in 2022 and I watched England play USA in Cape Town. I found the country to be very, very beautiful country, and the coast of Cape Town is one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been. However, the issue is that we Africans, we hate ourselves. This issue that we're reporting today, it's not only happening in South Africa. Very, very recently, Ghanaians were telling Nigerians to go back to their home country. There was xenophobia attack against Nigeria in Ghana. The same many years ago, Nigeria asked Ghanaians to leave. What is wrong with the black race? Why do we hate ourselves? As I speak to you today, just last week, the Igbos, which is one of the tribes in Nigeria, they were asked to leave Lagos State. So if you are a Nigerian pointing accusing fingers at South Africans, the question I want to ask you is, have you removed the log in your eyes before you tell people in South Africa to remove the speck in their eyes? The problem with we black people is that we have been programmed to believe that anything that is black is inferior. If Chidimma Adetshina was a mixed race South African whose father is European and mother happened to be an African, I am sure she would not have faced the hostility that she faced in South Africa. So does that mean when you are darker, you've got dark skin, that is what we call self-hate. The black race have been made to feel inferior. A lot of black people they so much hate themselves that anything that is black is regarded as inferior. So we have to call a spade a spade. This is why whenever I hear black people talking about racism, I always say, brothers and sisters, let us calm down. Do we like ourselves before we start criticizing other people? Do we like ourselves? If we really like ourselves, why is it that we are in 2024, we still cannot see ourselves as one? Why? You have the Zulus in South Africa, you have Zulus in other neighboring African countries. The boundaries of Africans were created by the European after the Berlin Conference in 1876. So a lot of the boundaries we're seeing today were created for us by the Europeans. So why is it that we cannot accept ourselves? You have prominent politicians in South Africa, like Gaten McKenzie, who is openly whipping up anti-immigrant rhetoric, inciting South Africans and black South Africans against their fellow black brothers and sisters. The question I say to you, I want to ask you this question again. If you're watching me from South Africa, I know a lot of South Africans watch my video. I am not saying that all South Africans are bad. Like you heard me said before, I said, even in Nigeria, we have the same problem. So it is not just a problem that is peculiar to only South Africa. It's a black race problem. But as long as we have failed leadership, there is lack of resources. People are going to find who they are going to blame. And it is the poor people who have no jobs, who have no hope. They are going to find someone that is better than them. A lot of Nigerians and other Africans have said South African men are lazy. That is why they like to attack other Africans. I want to leave your comment in the comment section. Do you believe that one of the reasons that is fueling the xenophobia attack in South Africa is because South African men are lazy? If you're a South African woman, I want you to leave your comment in the comment section, because a lot of South African women have married other Africans and they may have a different experience. Do you really think that Chidimma Adetshina, if her father was from Britain or America or European country, she would have faced the hostilities that she faced? Why is it that South Africans are very, very quick to be proud of Trevor, but they are not proud of Chidimma. Why? Is it because Chidimma name sounds African? Trevor is Anglo-Saxon name? Why? This is the problem with us. Like I said before, the black people have been conditioned to hate themselves. You see, even in Nigeria, every little thing, the Yorubas will issue statement that all Igbos should return back to their home country. When are we going to stop this madness? When is this madness going to stop? I repeat what I said. A lot of South Africans who are generation free will not be attacking other Africans if they understand the role that Libya under Muammar Gaddafi, the role that Nigeria, Tanzania, Ghana played, Walter Sisulu, Ahmed Ketado, and Albert Lutumi, the founding fathers of ANC. They spend time in other African countries. The thing with us is that we don't read books. The young generation, they are more interested in social media. They don't read books. If you read books, you understand the role that other Africans play in freeing you. You will not be attacking people, Zimbabweans. You will not be attacking Nigerians. I'm telling you, you will not be doing that, because you will understand that your freedom today is because of the contribution that other Africans play. So we must stop this madness, this black on black killings, this black on black attack, and look for a way to empower ourselves. This must stop. It must stop, because I don't believe that all South Africans, because I have followed the discourse in South Africa, although there are elites in South Africa like the Minister of Culture who is whipping up anti-immigrant sentiment, but the vast majority of South Africa, I don't believe they are xenophobic. And those South Africans need to reclaim their country. If you do not have jobs, it's not because of immigrants. It's because the ANC, after Mandela, ANC has been ruled by corrupt leaders. Not only ANC, just like most African countries, including Nigeria, you have a failure of leadership is causing the people at the bottom to exploit the situation and say, look for who to blame. And until African leaders rise up and provide good leadership, I'm telling you, a lot of us will be back in Africa if we have good leaders in Africa, because we have the resources to be a great continent. But failure of leadership is allowing our people to pitch themselves against themselves. If all blacks move out of South Africa today, I am telling you, give it 6 months, there will be war, in civil war in South Africa between the Zulus and the Xhosas. Give it 6 months. If all foreigners move out of South Africa, in less than 6 months, you see the Xhosas and the Zulu, they will start civil war. So my brothers and sisters, we need to educate ourselves. Let us love ourselves. There is nothing like self-love. We don't have to start killing ourselves. This platform, it's about tolerance. It's about bringing people together, because we need that information. You can support us on our mission by sharing this content with anyone that you know will benefit. Give this video a like so that more people from our community will see it and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to support us in our mission. God bless. I'll see you guys soon.